What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and in this week's breakdown, we're going to talk about the Bills versus Giants game Sunday night up at Buffalo. Another primetime game for the Giants to look terrible in and get made fun of, and this is a great spot to be for the Bills. The Bills last weekend played the Jaguars in London and lost in that game. So again, similar to 2 weeks ago when the Bills beat the Dolphins were pissed off and they had a game almost like a get-right game. When you know you're going to play a really bad team, you have an opportunity to get right, get everything going. And the Dolphins were able to play the Giants last weekend and absolutely smoke them. 300 passing yards, 200 rushing yards. Giants didn't do anything offensively again. Now you have, conversely, that the Bills lost last weekend, again on the road to the Jaguars, 25-20. So you'll have the Bills in a get-right game versus the Giants to get back on track in front of their home fans, to be able to beat the absolute crap out of the Giants and have fun doing it, because that's the kind of team the Giants are right now. They're a fun team to play against where all of your star players can go off. Your defense, especially your defensive line, will have ample time to get to the quarterback. And really, at this point, when you're playing the Giants, it's kind of like if you're playing Madden or something and you're playing a team on easy mode and you kind of just want to pad your stats against a certain team. That's kind of what you could do against the Giants. Your D-line's going to have sacks. Everyone's going to feel good after the game. And then your playmakers are on offense, rushing and passing and receiving will also have big games. You saw that last weekend for the Dolphins versus the Giants, where all the Dolphins running backs went off. A-Chain, but he also got hurt. And then you got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, star players there going off at the wide receiver position. So hopefully what you can see in this week's matchup for the Giants versus the Bills is that the Giants can do a little bit more from a scheme standpoint instead of hanging their rookie corners kind of out to dry. And we saw that with the Tyreek Hill mismatch versus Trey Hawkins, where Tyreek Hill just burned right past him, gave the deuces on the way for like a 65, 70-yard touchdown or something. And then after the game, the media asked Xavier McKinney about it, and he deflected all accountability and kind of put it not on himself and kind of blamed the offense. Really weird statement. I do want to say probably I won't do every season I get a list, a mental list, and this time I'll actually write it down and we'll talk about it. I'm not going to talk about my list until after, because the Bills are a great opponent, so are the Dolphins, and then after next game, when we've gone against a team that's not absolutely a powerhouse that's going to destroy us, I want to see if there's any guys in that game that will step up and maybe won't be on my list. And my list essentially is the guys on the team that I've seen enough snaps from. I've seen them play on the team, whether it be for a number of years, that I've seen all I need to see, and I know that I don't want to see them play again. So we'll touch on the list without being too negative. I mean, the season seems like it's a lost cause with staring down the barrel of a 1-5 start here, because there's just really no way to come back from that. And I think that's really the main point. I'm going to go on a little rant here, but I think that's kind of the main thing that happened with the Giants this year. Was last year we had no expectations. We had a new coach, new GM, and everyone slept on us. We completely outperformed all of our expectations and had a fun win over the Vikings, and then got destroyed when you actually played a real team. This year you come into the season with a little bit more hype. You re-sign key players, left tackle, quarterback, D-tackle, and you have a pretty solid draft that a lot of draft pundits and scouts are happy about with that success as well. You also had Dable as the coach of the year. A lot of that hype didn't really pan out so far this season, as the offense is pretty non-existent. I think the Giants are approaching historical status of being one of the worst offenses in the history of the sport, where they just can't find the end zone and nothing to do is right. The offensive line got to such a bad point that now it's leading to injuries, where your $40 million plus quarterback a year was knocked out of the game because he's been hit so many times and his body physically cannot withstand any more hits through 4 or 5 games. So Daniel Jones is out this week. You're going to see Tyrod Taylor, who I think they said he got the wind knocked out of him. That's kind of what it looked like. It'll be interesting to see how he looks with a whole new NFL pro quarterback in the offense, seeing if he could get anything going whatsoever. So that'll allow the Jones haters to really say, wow, look how good this guy is. It's almost like a confirmation bias if Tyrod Taylor is able to have any success whatsoever. Even if they score 1 touchdown, it's better than really what's happened the last few weeks. The haters can have fun with that. And obviously, if you want to beat the Bills, you have to score points, similar to trying to beat the Dolphins. So if you don't score against anyone, you're not going to win. Like even the Seahawks games, the Giants are going to have their work cut out for them. You're going to have to stop Diggs, Gabe Davis, good running backs by James Cook. Josh Allen is a top tier NFL quarterback. If you couldn't figure it out last weekend versus the Dolphins, who are also on track for a historical offensive season of greatness, I don't know how the Giants will be able to somehow go from 1 week of not being able to stop something so strong and powerful versus figuring it out, unless the only chance you have is that a team would completely overlook you and think that you kind of stink. But I think for the Bills, there's also a little bit more with this game because Joe Shane and Brian Dable were both on the Bills staff. So I think the Bills would like to just kind of shove it to them to say, like, you guys left us and, you really didn't make the right move. From an injury standpoint, too, I just talked about Jones, but I mean, Andrew Thomas, you're getting paid an absurd amount of money, one of the highest paid left tackles in the league, and one hamstring injury is, he needs to look himself in the mirror and say, I'm an offensive lineman with a hamstring issue. I'm not going to be sprinting around. I have to play because people are getting hurt. The offense can't do anything, and they paid me a lot. So if it's just your hamstring, how at this point can't you play? You're just an offensive lineman. You're not sprinting. And it's not like the Giants are running aggressive screenplays where guys have to run downfield anyways. I think he's got to look himself in the mirror and sack up and play because, it's just your hamstring. And at this point, it's been since, halfway through week 1? Or maybe did he play the full game week 1? Not that it really mattered anyway because they lost 40-0. But come on, you got to play. Saquon seems like he's on track to play as well. And that was kind of what I said, going into this season. And my reasons for concern video were just really injuries from 3 guys, Saquon, Danny Dimes, and Waller. But Waller's been able to withstand that so far, even though he was questionable for a few games. So I don't know how the Giants get it done this weekend if they have a chance at all. They haven't covered the spread once this season, and this game they're going into this Sunday night matchup as 14-point underdogs. The Giants are historically terrible in primetime games. Daniel Jones, even thank God he's not playing in this game actually, because the media probably wouldn't shut up about his 1-11 record in primetime, how it's by far the worst ever, which is also a little unfair to him because there's also been guys through those 12 games or whatever how many primetime games it's been for Daniel Jones that have been on the team too, and they've also sucked. But I guess when you're a quarterback, gets drafted 6 overall, and you get paid $40 million a year, and you've really only had one successful season, that comes with a lot of criticism. And people want to make fun of you, especially when you're the Jets or the Giants in a really big metropolitan area, you're going to get a lot of criticism. So as the Giants haven't covered any spreads so far this season, I won't be taking them. And not to say you should ever bet against your team, but I think from a historical standpoint of what you've seen so far in Giants games, it'd be very smart to look into any sort of Stephon Diggs props, probably his over receiving yards, and maybe Gabe Davis anytime touchdown. Definitely Josh Allen anytime touchdown, because this Bills offense is on track to score many points against a terrible Giants defense that can't really stop much, and they're in an absolute bounce back game here. So I really would sprinkle some anytime touchdowns between Allen, Cook, Gabe Davis, and Diggs to find the end zone, and then probably Diggs over receiving yards, because Diggs is a guy who has a lot of great fire truck going by right now, of course, but Diggs has a lot of thoughts, and he goes back at the media, and the media has issues with him. I think the one way that you can see how the media and the locker room, more importantly, responds to stuff is by winning and putting up a lot of points and having great stats. And you could see that there's 2 sides of that. The Bills have been able to do that really so far this year, and the Giants haven't done that at all. And now you're seeing a locker room that's kind of in dismay. You're getting McKinney talking about how he did his assignment even though he didn't help a rookie. So it's it's just little things like that spiral out of control that lead to many more big issues. But I can't believe we're already here through only a third of the season. But hey, you are what your record says you are, and right now the Giants aren't very good. See you guys next time.